This podcast is brought to you by Hoare Chartered Accountants. Hoare Chartered Accountants are based in Galway City and are a leading provider of audit, accountancy and taxation services. For more information, visit hoarecharteredaccountants.ie.
Looking ahead, firstly, to the Intermediate Hurling Championship, I'm joined by Ballygar's Ryan Duffy. First off, Ryan, for you and I suppose the Ballygar players, how is it juggling this commitment now between football and hurling throughout the championship?
Yeah, it's a tough one, I suppose. There's three of us now that are from Glenamaddy. We're playing hurling up in Ballygar, and then the rest of the lads are from Ballygar. But down in Baligar, they kind of have dual sessions, which seem to be working really well, which is really balancing the load very well. And I suppose the communication then between Baligar and Glenamaddy has been excellent this year. I mean, they're really trying to, I suppose, make sure that we're not overloading ourselves, to like minimize injuries and probably to get the best out of ourselves. So I suppose, like every year, it's tough to balance them, but I suppose when you've right management in place and right people in place around you, the load is very, very, very manageable. Once a plan's in place and it's structured, which is definitely working well down in Baligar.
In Ballygar at the minute, you must be fairly happy with the way things are going. Like to win, or not to win it, but to get to the Division 2 league final was a fantastic achievement throughout the league.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the panel we have this year is it's really strong. We've 25, 30 lads every evening at training, really pushing each other on. And I suppose we reaped the rewards in league. We got a really good league run. Ended up getting to a league final against Clarinbridge. Unfortunate not to come out the right side of it. But I mean, we secured promotion to Division 1, which is going to be a huge stepping stone for us next year. I mean, to be the best, we want to play the best, and that's where we're going to be at next year. And I mean, we have to even up our standard again, even looking league-wise for next year, to be able to be playing against the likes of Thomas's, Loughrea, Turlockmore's. So, I mean, it's really positive the way to see the direction Ballygar Hurling's going in, and it's going to be a really big championship campaign for us. We're going to be really pushing hard.
Just even in the players that have come through, to now have Harry Holmes and Colin Maloney, obviously able to play intermediate. Obviously, they're only under 17 last year, so couldn't play, but it's huge for the club, I imagine.
Oh, massive. I mean, the two boys, they're generational talents. And to bring that into the squad we already have, it's brilliant. You know, it's constant battling for places, and I suppose everyone knows the caliber of the two lads. They're brilliant, you know, and the attitude they bring to training as well, it really drives them on. For young lads, they really have their head on their shoulders, which is so encouraging to see young lads coming up like that and driving on everyone. It's definitely going in a good direction.
Where do you feel Baligar at now heading into the championship?
I suppose we had a good league campaign. We're positive in the group. We're training hard. We're just kind of tweaking a few things now. Last week and a half of bulk training now, getting in our last challenge match. Where we're at, we're not going to get too ahead of ourselves. We've had a good league campaign. We're going to take a step by step in the group. We have Clarinbridge in the first game. We're not going to look anywhere after that. We're going to try and get over that game, and we'll move on through the group. But definitely, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to take game by game and see where we're at.
Yeah, just looking at that group, obviously you've been drawn alongside Annadown, Clarinbridge and Kinvara there.
Yeah, really tough group. I suppose Kinvara, once again, they're always there near the business end. I think they were in a semi-final last year. Annadown first team, always good. And they'll have one or two county lads. So, I mean, like, the caliber of Intermediate Hurling Galway is really good anyway. And I suppose it's going to be a dogfight to get out of the group. It's going to be a dogfight to get anywhere near the business end of it. But we're going to stay positive, and we're going to take game by game and see where we're at, hopefully.
What do you feel the championship ambitions are this year for Baligar?
I mean, the caliber of players we have this year, the panel we have, the trainers we have a great coach down there, Liam Cunningham, and John Hanley. I mean, ambitions, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves at all. We're going to take it game by game. We were hoping to better our standards from last year. I know we got caught in the preliminary quarter final last year by Turlockmore, and we're definitely hoping to better our result we got last year. So I suppose ambitions, we'll get out of the group, we'll take it game by game, and we'll see where we're at come a few weeks' time.
Just finally, then, Ryan, you've obviously experienced the split season on both sides of things between Glenamaddy and Ballygar there. Do you feel the split season and the current structure of the season is working?
Yeah, I think when it does come down to championship, it is really hectic for them 6 8 weeks. Especially when if Glen and Baligar both get far in championship, it's tough. It's tough on the body. But as I said at the start, the communication between both clubs is very good. They really balance the load, and I suppose it's very manageable. I suppose both clubs realise where each ambitions are at, and they're willing to work with each other to get the best out of those players. So that's really, really positive. It's really positive and encouraging to play under as well.
Great stuff. Thanks for that, Ryan, and best of luck in the championship. Now we're continuing our build up to the Intermediate Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by Kinvara's Darragh Helebert. Darragh, first off, how are preparations going ahead of the championship?
Yeah, Paul. Everything's been going good. We've got a good block of training in there. All eyes are really focused on our first round against Annadown. We're not looking past that at all. A few injuries to clean up, but other than that, we've got a good block of training in. With a strong out league campaign. We were happy enough towards the end of it, but didn't get the result in the final against it was a good Scanlon Bellew team. But other than that, training's been going well, and all eyes are focused on the first round now.
I know the league didn't go your way, but do you still think it was important to get that extra game in the league? Because considering if you don't make the knockout stages in the league, you're obviously finishing a bit earlier.
Definitely, Paul. And we set a target at the start of the year. We've been down in Division 3 for a long time now. So our aim was to at least try get out of our group and see where it goes from there. And luckily, we had a very strong group. We had two Senior B teams and Senior A team. And luckily, we got out and ended up in the final. It was a wet all evening in Athenry. But look, it's a great experience. And we had a few new debutants along the way and given all the lads game time. So it's really strengthened the depth in our panel. And look, the final didn't go our way, but it's not the end of the world either.
You just mentioned there a few new debutants in the squad. Like player turnover wise, have you lost many? Is there many new players in this year?
We haven't lost anyone. We still have the three older statesmen over 25, the three boys over 25, but we've added four or five new lads, and they've been great lads additions to the team, like, and fresh faces, fresh voices, and they've really driven the standards. So it's the competition for places is good, but look, it's all systems go to the first round, so see where we can go from there.
Same management again for you?
Yeah, it's all the same boys. Mike Cummins came back from Gort. It's great to have him back on board. He's an excellent coach, and he's really driven the standards of our club since he came in, and it's just great to have him on board.
Darragh, obviously going back to last year, like a great year for you to get to the county final. Is there regrets last year not getting over the line, or is it confidence that you actually draw from getting to that final?
It's definitely confidence that you can take from it. Like, played a very good Tina team that day, and everyone's seen how well they done getting to the All Ireland series. But look, we're still a very young team, and probably a bit of inexperience on the day as well was evident. But look, it was a great year last year, but we didn't win anything either at the end of the day. So it's back to the drawing board, and we're back to the same level playing field as every other team this year. So it's all eyes focused on Annadown, and everyone's back on pair zero now from day one.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously getting to that final. Do you think that'll help this year? Obviously, you were able to, I suppose, go through that route last year of making your way to the final and coming through the different stages. Do you think that can help you this year?
Well, it's great to have the experience of it from last year, but there's no guarantees that you'll be back there, and it takes an awful lot of hard work. And look, we've put in a good bit of hard graft and training this year, so hopefully things might take flow.
When you see Tina going all the way to the Ireland final, that has to give you big confidence.
Ah, it does like, and we competed them very well that day, just nearly the bounce of a ball either way for 2 goals, but probably they're physically stronger and stuff. But it's definitely something that we can be proud of and something we can build on this year, hopefully, if everything goes our way.
For yourselves, obviously, to get Conor Whelan back in among the ranks for yourselves, has it been a big positive?
Ah, yeah, it's great to have Wheelo back. Like, obviously, he's one of the elder statesmen on our team, and he's always constantly driving standards in our team and bringing all his experience back from the county. So, look, we've had him back there the last few weeks, so it's great to have him back. And even for the younger lads, he's great, giving just a word in the ear for some of the young lads. So it's great to have him back. Yeah.
Looking at your group, you've obviously mentioned Annadown's up first for you, then Ballygar and Clarinbridge in the group as well. What would you expect in that group in the Intermediate Hurling Championship?
Ah, it's a very tough group. Like, there's no easy game there whatsoever. We're only focused on our first round and a down. Like, that's going to be a savage test. And a down, like, they've some serious hurlers in their side and be a very fit and physical team. So our eyes are only focused on that game, and nothing will be taken for granted. But every group in intermediate is very tough. Like, there's a lot of good teams, so it can go either way in any given day.
What do you feel are the ambitions for Kinvara this year?
Well, obviously, we're a proud hurling club, so we have a good core group there of lads, and the experience of last year, you'd be hoping to have a good year. It's been good so far. Like, obviously, we haven't done any silverware, but um, the standard of our hurling has definitely went up, and just all eyes are focused on the first round now and to take it from there.
Do you feel there's an extra, not pressure, but a different dynamic, obviously, with obviously top eight teams are going to join the senior B teams next year in Premier Intermediate and whoever gets relegated, obviously, from senior. Does that bring a different dynamic to the competition this year?
It could, yeah. We haven't really been thinking about that at all. We're just focused on our first round, and it's still the same intermediate competition to us as it was last year. So we're not thinking about next year at all. It's just our first game, and obviously that the new format that's coming in next year will change things. But all eyes have just been focused on our first round now, and there's been no other distractions.
The season as a whole there, and in terms of a split season as a club player, how are you finding the structure of the season and would you like to see any changes?
I'm definitely enjoying it anyways. Like, we're still like in Galway, we're getting out in August and the weather's still good, hard ground. Obviously it gets worse later into the year, but at least the league is sort of running off through the summer, and you don't have to go back as early. Like, teams aren't doing the flogging in December, sort of November. You're getting your gymming in that time, and then you can hit the pitch sort of February, March. So at least it's not completely stretched, and it's still giving lads the chance, I suppose, to do J1s and whatever and get that bit of travelling in over the summer. But yeah, at least you have that set target of August. That's when you're going to start, and you can, yeah, be fully focused on that.
Great stuff, Darragh. Thanks a million for that and best of luck in the championship.
Perfect. Thanks, Paul.
We're building up now to the Intermediate Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by Annadown's Ogie Coen. Ogie, how are preparations going ahead of the championship?
Preparations are going well. We're just kind of into the final run in now. We've been playing challenge games and things like that, and just trying to get the bodies right and trying to get the hurling right for next weekend. Kind of gets a bit complicated with ourselves, like with we've football now to deal with this weekend as well. But yeah, so you kind of, in one way, it's probably good. You kind of put the hurling, sort of, for me personally, you kind of nearly put the hurling off without concentrating on it too much. And then it's just all next week. Then again, it's just going to be um, hurling, I suppose, and trying to get the bodies right. If we're the preparation's pretty much done at this stage in terms of fitness and ability. You know, it's just trying to sort of fine tune things and get the minds right and get ready for Kinvara on Saturday week.
Just you mentioned obviously the dual commitments. Is it a challenge, or is it okay early on in the year starting out?
Um, I feel like it's probably getting harder. Like I'm one of the older lads now. So I've been doing it for a long time, but I wouldn't like being a young lad coming through now and trying to play both, just because the training for both, like training now at club level is probably where like inter-counties were like 10 or 15 years ago. Like it's just a huge commitment. So to try and do both, I feel like when I started, it was a huge benefit to do both because you were a lot fitter for playing two sports. But I think now, yeah, it's probably getting harder, I think, and unfortunately, you'll probably see a lot less dual players, I think, even at club level in the future. But our managers on both codes this year have been fairly good now in sort of communicating and things. So this year we've managed to cope fairly well and feel like most of the dual players are in a good spot, like physically, and nothing's really been sacrificed too much, I think, on either end. But it's all down to communication between like managers and players and both codes as well.
How do you feel the league went for you then, Ogie?
League wasn't great for us now. We struggled in the league with numbers. We've lads living away, and then we also have a good few lads doing leaving cert, which is a good sign that we have young lads kind of coming through. But obviously they have other commitments as well, and then with football then as well. So we didn't really put out a strong team, our strongest team, I should say, at any stage in the league, which is a little bit unfortunate. But in one sense, it's good because it gives other lads a chance that probably wouldn't get it. So that there's a few lads there now that probably at the start of the year mightn't have seen themselves pushing for a spot on the intermediate team, but now they are because they got a good run and they've proven themselves to be good enough. Like so, even though the results mightn't have been there in the league, I think we learned a lot about ourselves and a lot of players. Like there's a specific few players would have really kind of stood up when we needed them, and they've kind of proven that they are good enough to play intermediate championship.
Player turnover wise, I know has losing Lee Murphy obviously and Luke Keenan, they've been obviously two big losses for you.
Yeah, they were for two of our better players now last year, like probably our two best players, and they're gone. Like, I know we're not the only club that lose players to immigration and stuff. It seems to be kind of common enough now, but to lose, two, even just physically, like they're just two big players and they're two leaders as well that we had in the team. So they will be a huge loss to us. We have a lot of young lads there as well. Like I said, lads that were doing leaving cert that might have had a bit of game time last year, but they're now going to have to be sort of put in a position where like you kind of have to be ready because like we'll need these lads now this year. Like so, they don't have the time to sort of maybe have another year development. Yeah, with the losses that we've had, like these lads are going to have to be put in a position where they'll have to just sort of hopefully stand up and rise to the occasion.
Liam Gordon's obviously gone in over you this year. Obviously, a lot of people know Liam as the referee and role with GA as well. What has he brought to the table?
He's brilliant, Liam. He's a brilliant manager, and he just loves hurling. I think I was saying to you, like to be a referee, you nearly have to love hurling because you have to put up with a lot of sort of put up with a lot of stick, especially like at the lower levels, which you have to serve your time at to get to where he is now. But yeah, he just loves hurling, and it just makes that training and everything kind of a lot easier when he brings that energy himself. Like when you see a manager like who's so enthusiastic and so invested in the training sessions, like it does make things easier as a player to sort of feed off it. But he's a very, very good coach and a very good manager. We've like his performances as well in the hurling this year, like it's kind of motivated us as well. Like we see all the effort that he puts into refereeing, and actually I wouldn't even say we don't even see half it because a lot of that stuff he's doing on his own. So it's really motivation for us to see him, and like we were very proud of him to see him referee in our final. I think he did very well.
Just looking at the group, Kinvara first, obviously runners up last year. Baligar have been a great team this year in the league, and then Clarinbridge's second team. What are you expecting in that group?
Well, it's a tough group like there isn't really any easy group in at Intermediate anymore. Like every team is going to be putting up to it. Like we've played Kinvara and Clarinbridge a few times, but we haven't played Baligar now. I'd say since probably the last time I played Baligar was nearly 10 years ago at junior level. But like it is going to be a tough group. With Kinvara first there next weekend, so they were unlucky. With the way they were going last year, I actually thought they would have won it out. They were probably unlucky not to win it. But they've kind of shown, if people thought that maybe they were a one-man team, like with Conor Whelan, who's one of the best players in Ireland, like they're not. They have danger all over the field. So we have beaten them in recent years. 3 years ago, I think, in Tuam. But like we know that if we'll have to be absolutely at our best if we're going to get a result against them. We'll have confidence that we can, but we know that we'll every single one of us will have to be playing at our absolute best. So that's our main focus, is just try and get a performance out of us.
What's the goal for the Annadown hurlers this year?
Goal this year, well, our goal every year is like if you can get out of the group and get to a quarter final. Like the intermediate is kind of funny. It's any team on their day can nearly beat anyone else, and like anyone can lose to anyone. So it is wide open. Like so, the first we try not to focus. We don't have any right to think that, or any right to say at the start of the year that look, we have to win a county final. We haven't really earned the right to think that in our performances. But our first and our only goal really is just to get out of the group. We don't really look past that because there's no benefit of it to us. So it's just there's only 3 teams that really exist to us, and that's Kinvara, Baligar, and Bridge, and we'll worry about what comes afterwards. But we just have to be ready for that first game against Kinvara.
Do you think it brings a different dynamic now with the Premier Intermediate Championship coming in? Every club ultimately obviously wants to be in that top 8 now.
Yeah, it does. Like I don't know, is it kind of more so that they're just changing is it just semantics, like where they're just changing the names of it? In reality, I don't know how much of a difference it'll make. Like we're still just trying to get the best performance that we can out of us. But it does, it does kind of motivate you. Like you do think that you're good enough to be playing in that Premier Intermediate. So it would be disappointing, obviously, if you're not in it. So every team will be gunning for it, really, I think.
Just finally, do you think it's the right decision to go to that grade with obviously the 7 senior B teams and the team who's relegated from senior coming into this grade next year?
I do think something was going to come eventually. I think it was a few years ago, Croke Park kind of wanted every county to go down sort of the same sort of route with a certain number of senior teams and intermediate teams, and there was a bit of pushback from Galway, and I think Cork as well they have Premier Intermediate actually as well, I think. But it was coming. They tried a good few years ago, and then they changed. That's when they actually sort of started the senior A, senior B. So I think it was going to come eventually with the amount of senior teams that we had, and the senior B was kind of in sort of limbo there. They weren't really senior, or they weren't really intermediate. So I do think it's no surprise that it's come, really. I think it was coming for a while. So hopefully it'll just benefit the county. I think the county will probably perform better at intermediate level in the All Ireland series. So the team that'll come out of intermediate should perform well we have had good team performances, or good teams come out of intermediate that do well in All Ireland, but maybe we're underperforming a little bit in that category when you look at how well our senior clubs are doing.
Great stuff, Ogie. Thanks very much for that, and best of luck in the championship.
Thanks, Paul.
So we're building up now to the Intermediate Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by Clarinbridge Intermediate Manager Peter Burke. Peter, obviously it's different when you're preparing with a second team for the Intermediate Championship, but from a Clarinbridge perspective, what's the dynamic like heading into the Intermediate Championship?
Yeah, how Paul? Good to talk to you. Yeah, really looking forward to it now, Paul. It's getting close now. When you get to race week, we kind of be targeting, kind of start to taper down now. But yeah, it's a bit different when you have an intermediate and a senior team. You know, like a lot of our group would be kind of split between the seniors and kind of joined up with the juniors and the under 20s. But it's been good. Look, we're 20 years up there now, or over 20 years. At intermediate level, and it's something where it's a well used of the routine of it now. So yeah, it's been good. We've trained well. It's a long drag to get here now, but yeah, we're really looking forward to it now as it gets closer.
With the intermediates, then would you be training with the seniors?
Yeah, we kind of did it slightly different this year. You know, we made a decision early in the year that around June we'd cut the panel. We kind of held a bigger group last year with the seniors, and it's a bit harder to manage. So this year we kind of cut the panel around leaving cert time when the county boys came back and that. So we've two separate groups going at the moment. So yeah, it's full on. You're down at the pitch most evenings of the week at this stage. Yeah.
How do you feel the league went then for the intermediate side?
Yeah, the league was actually very poor, Paul. Yeah, we were quite disappointed with the league, but you know, there was I suppose some reasons for that. You know, a lot of the lads were tied up with a young enough squad, like, and a lot of lads were tied up with the Prez at Tenerife for their run, and then you know some of our intermediates would have been involved with the senior league as well. So when you're playing a senior league on a Saturday and intermediate on Sunday, and also it's very competitive down there in Division 3. Like, you know, there's 3 or 4 senior teams in that group. You know, the likes of your Mike Hullins and Pierce's and these guys, and sure Kinvara were the other team in it. Then I'm sure they're nearly the strongest team in the intermediate. So, you know, we won one game. You know, to be honest with you, Paul, it's last May. I think we got knocked out, but it seems like a long time ago now. So we've trained well, and they've really come together since now. So yeah, we're happy enough with where we're at the moment.
How is it then, Peter, when you like, how do you view it when, I suppose, players make the step up to senior? Because obviously there's probably stages throughout the year, is there, where you might lose a couple of players?
Well, that's what, Paul, we've always looked at it as a kind of a feeder team, team into the senior team and a development squad. That's the way we look at it. You know, these lads are getting fantastic experiences. You know, this is my 3rd year now with them, and we played in Pierce Stadium, Kinney Park, you know, Tuam Stadium. We're playing in all the big venues, playing big teams, and when they go up to senior, they're well road tested, and you know that the senior management are helping me out as well, and they're all the time trying to find those 1 or 2 players that can just make that step up, and thankfully a few of them have. I always love to see lads playing at the highest level as possible. You know, look, it's the same. Our juniors have played a couple of games now at this stage in under 20s, and I'm looking at those guys, and they've performed well. They've won a couple of games. The junior under 20s hasn't gone that well so far, but you know, that's where if lads can do it at that level, that's when you're looking at them to really make the step up to the next level. So it works well.
Who would be some of the players that you'd expect to see with the intermediates, or is it still kind of hard to know at this stage?
Sure, it's hard to know, Paul. Like, you know, the seniors have Turlough in the first round. That it's going to take 20 players to compete against Turlough. The few injuries then, and then we're kind of left with the rest. You know, and you know, but there's still some very very good hurlers in it, lads that are very serious about their hurling. So, you know, we will have some decent players. You know, and they're kind of older and then kind of very young. That's kind of the demographic of our squad. You know, you have the likes of Michael Daly, you know, Ronan Kane. Alan Armstrong will be another player now. He done his cruciate actually in the first round last year, so he got the surgery. He's still rehabbing away, but we'll hope to see him at some stage this year. And you know, they're brilliant lads to have. They're great experience, show great guidance to the young lads. You know, so yeah. And then you know, we've been quite successful in underage in recent years. A lot of those lads now have kind of started to come through. So yeah, this you know, you're just trying to find that little bit of improvement for them, and kind of we've done a lot of work on the S&C side. You know, we probably were a bit behind on that in the previous 5 kind of years, 6 years before that. But there's a lot of work done on that now. So lads are well equipped now to play adult hurling, and really looking forward to seeing them now this year.
Just looking at the group, Peter, Ballygar, Annadown and Kinvara, what are you expecting in that group?
Yeah, there's nothing easy in Nepal. like Baligar got to the final of the Division Two league. They really made a big impact down there. They beat the likes of Ardrahan and Leitrim Kilnadeem and Aircourt and these teams that they have some great young players like Cathal Maloney he captained the minors a couple of years ago. He's a great young fella, serious young fella, really good actually that day against Clarinbridge in the league final. Harry Holmes, Joey Wallace, good free taker there as well, centre forward. Carol Healy, a lot of pace as well. So look, they're going to be a huge test for us, in the first round. And even what they're doing in underage, they're knocking around the business end of championships at juvenile level. We see them there all the time, and there's a great energy with the hurling in Ballygar and great facilities down there now as well. And I'm sure they're going to be thinking, for a big push this year. Go on then, I suppose, for your own club. Then after that, the second game, Annadown. I'm sure you're not going to give away any state secrets there, but I suppose everyone would look at Annadown, and a lot would depend if they have the likes, the Liam Murphy and a few great hurlers there, but a lot would probably depend if they have Damien Comer or Kate Commons and these guys like that. That would just totally transforms them from, to being a serious contender. The last game then, Kinvara played them in the league. They bet us 20 points in the league without Conor Whelan, but they have, they're young, like they've Darragh Helebert and Josh O'Connor and the guy on the 20s this year, Larkin Heavey, they're class hurlers, so they really went hard at it last year, and I'm sure, I think it's very open this year, but they're one of the top teams. It's a lot, Tina were the real top team last year, and everyone was kind of looking at those as the potential favourites. Got a bit tight for them down the home straight, all right, but I think it's very open this year, and I think we're in for a great championship this year, Paul. With the restructuring coming next year, for us, I suppose our fate is sealed. We know we're going to be in the is it the Reeves Cup they're going to call it now in the junior.
Sorry, Peter, how do you view that? Because the second team's obviously going to go down a level. Do you think it's a good thing, or do you think the second team's?
I think it's a good thing, Paul. We kind of know with the intermediate that we're not going to win it, and it's probably not fair on other teams that are trying to bridge that gap, kind of the lower level intermediate teams, if they come across us kind of early doors, and we're kind of strong enough at that stage, and it kind of if we beat them, then it can kind of derail their championship aspirations. So it's probably not fair on them at that stage, and then obviously our challenge kind of peters out. They're out of the championship and we're out of it. So we're going to be in now ourselves and our other second teams that are in the intermediate of Athenry and Turlock and Crowell, and we're going to be down now, and you're going to have the likes of Lochray and St Thomas, is all good second teams, and we're going to play together. Obviously, there's no promotion after it, and there's no All Ireland after that, but I can tell you, I'd be fairly confident that'll be a serious competition next year. But it's going to make for a brilliant intermediate championship this year, Paul, because you have 16 teams starting out, and there's only 8 going to go forward into the new Premier Intermediate. The 4 obviously second teams are going to be stepping aside. But then if you come third or fourth, you're in the danger zone straight away. So every 2 points is going to be really precious. Every score that you get, or every score you can see, the scoring difference could even put you out. So I think the games are going to be massively competitive this year. So it could be set up for one of the best intermediate championships in a long time.
Just finally then, Peter, what do you feel is the aim for the Clarinbridge intermediate team this year?
Well, I suppose, Paul, we want to try and get a little bit of level of consistency. Whatever players we end up putting out, that they go out and I suppose for a more sustained campaign, just bring in better performances, because it has started off really good in the last number of years, and then it just kind of tapers off, and we're just hoping that doesn't happen this year. It could be our last year ever playing intermediate, so we want to really give a good account of ourselves, and hopefully find a couple of players to take on for the senior group and make them a bit stronger. That's the ultimate goal, really.
Just finally, Peter, then on the structure of the season, I've been talking to numerous club players across the grade, and the constant feedback has really been about the league finishing too early. Some teams' last game was the 30th of May. They don't play a competitive game again till August 10th, and there does seem to be a real challenge even to get challenge matches at the minute.
Well, if you take it back, Paul, like we're probably nearly 8 months down on the road to get to the first round. That's too long. It's too long for anyone, And then, you could do all this great block of training early on, have a good league, and then the leaving cert kicks in, and there's holidays, and it's too long, But and even if you decide that we won't go back as early, the guys are hearing their neighbours are back and they're training away, and everyone wants to get going. Then I don't know what the solution to it is like, but we nearly went back and done a kind of a mini preseason after the league this year. Just to fill that void, and a lot of teams are kind of trying to taper or to kind of get the fractions right in their run, especially that the top teams that want to get hoping to get to the knockout stages. They don't want to be going probably too hard at this stage in the year. They want to try and leave a bit for the end of October and that. So what the solution to it, I don't know. I think there's a lot of importance, I think, Paul, maybe people don't realize in topping your group, because you have 3 kind of really tough games. If you can get top your group in the senior and intermediate, senior B as well, if you can top your group, get that 4 weeks off, freshen up your panel, you can sit back and watch the opposition, get your injuries right, and you're playing a second or third place team then, and if you get over that, you're in a great place heading down the home stages with a fresh group, and you can have a real good course of the championship then. But what the solution to it is, Paul, I don't know. Maybe they could, maybe at a national level, to flip the seasons and go with the intercounty first and the club afterwards, and it'll free up pitches and stuff like that. But the best grounds that would be in good shape at the back end of the year. We've thanks to with the seniors and that we're going all over the county looking for pitches. When it gets to when the weather turns and the evenings close in, like so. It's tough. I don't know what the solution to it is, Paul, but we'll have to go with the one we have at the moment and see how it goes.
Absolutely. Peter, thanks a million for your time, and best of luck in the championship.
Great stuff, Paul. Thanks a million.